Okay, in today's video, I have a list of 10 things for you to do in your 50s. I want you to think of this list as sort of a bucket list for your 50s. They'll create a turning point in your life where things will never be the same. A positive, pivotal turning point. Now, these things, they're not hard. They're not difficult. You might have to get out of your comfort zone a little bit on some of them, but they're all achievable. Okay, first thing on the list that I want you to do in your 50s is travel alone. I began traveling alone in my late 40s. I was tired of waiting around and putting it off, and I finally said, it's now or never. I'm so glad that I did that, and I think you will be glad too. If I hadn't done it, I would still probably be waiting today and not have all of those great travel memories that I do have now. You can make just as many travel memories traveling alone as you can with other people. Don't let anyone tell you that traveling alone is not any fun. Start with short weekend trips close to home. You will gain so much confidence and independence from doing it. It's actually very refreshing not having to coordinate or compromise the things that you want to do with others on the trip with you. If you want to lay on the beach for 5 days straight and just read, if that's something you've always wanted to do, then what's stopping you? If you want to go and spend all day long in a museum that everyone else in your family thinks would be the most boring day ever, go ahead and plan it now. Okay, number 2 on the list, and this might get you out of your comfort zone a little bit, but I believe that in your 50s is the best time to start a YouTube channel. I started my channel in the beginning of August 2024, and I am literally amazed at how much I have learned since starting this channel. The planning stages, the creative parts, the recording, the editing. It's actually incredible at how many facets of your brain you have to tap into in order to create and post videos. Now, this channel, no matter what its future, I'll always know how much it has taught me about myself and about videography. Now, I will say, it's a lot of work. Sometimes it's hard to carve out time for it, but in a way that makes it more fulfilling to me because I know I have to carve that time out on purpose to make it happen. Now, I truly believe that it's never too late and any age is a good time to start a YouTube channel, but here is why I believe starting one right now in your 50s is the best time to do it. Now, according to Google, there are over 1 billion Gen Xers that tune into YouTube every single day. And those Gen Xers, they're in their 40s and 50s right now, and they're searching YouTube. And they're looking for videos that matter to them. They're looking for videos they can relate to. They're looking for creators they can relate to with topics that are important to them. So that is why I think right now in your 50s is a great time to start a YouTube channel. Take a self-defense course in your 50s. When I turned 50, I took a self-defense course, and I'm very glad that I did. I think everyone should take a self-defense course. I think it's kind of like taking swimming lessons when you're a kid. It's something that could save your life one day. Now, of course, in the course, they'll teach you certain offensive and defensive moves, but they'll teach you other things, such as how to be more aware of your surroundings, things to look for, ways to exploit the attacker's vulnerabilities. It'll also make you aware of your own vulnerabilities. So see what's available in your area. I think an in-person class is the best way to go. I mean, sure, you can watch some YouTubes, and I've done that, but until I took a class in person where you can actually simulate some of those moves and do them in real life, that's when the rubber meets the road. So I feel like everyone should take a course in self-defense. Okay, number 4 on the list, learn how to fix something or DIY something for the first time. Now I'll tell you a little story. I was walking out to my car one day and I noticed that the antenna on the top of my car was gone. It was missing. and there's a hole in the top of my car where the base used to be. Now, I'm sure the car wash that I went in a few days prior had nothing to do with that. Then I went to the dealer, and their quote came back, and it was over $750. They almost had to pick me up off the floor. They said that the labor was the biggest part. They had to take the whole entire headliner out of the car, and the part itself was a couple of $100, and the rest was labor. So I come home and I'm searching for videos, and I finally found one video. They described that if you can squeeze your hand between the headliner and the frame of the car, and we're talking about just about a space this big, then you could possibly replace it yourself without taking the headliner off. So I thought, well, I'm going to try that. So I found the antenna off of a salvaged car in another state. I had that shipped to me. The total was $55 for the antenna. I was a little nervous, but I started it, and in 30 minutes, and after wearing the hide off of my knuckles, I did it, and I was thrilled that I actually did it. It looked like nothing had ever happened once I was done. I wish everybody could know the excitement and the sense of accomplishment that I did from doing that. So that is why I say do something in your 50s that takes you above and beyond your comfort zone. And speaking of cars, a good place to start would be learning how to change your own air filters or cabin air filters. I was astonished at how easy those are as well. But maybe you're tired of that dingy old faucet in the bathroom. Maybe you've always wanted to build something. Now's the time. There are so many videos out there and how-tos on how to fix these things yourself. The satisfaction you'll get from it is priceless. Trust me. Okay, number 5 on the list. If you've never gardened, I want to convince you to start gardening. It's an incredible feeling knowing that you can eat something that you grew in your backyard or in a flower pot on your back porch. It's amazing to plant those tiny little seeds and watch them grow. It gives you a sense of awe. When you sit down to dinner and know that those tomatoes you're getting ready to eat came out of your backyard, or the peppers you grew did so well that now you have extras to give away to your family and friends, it's a great feeling. But you don't only have to garden for food. You can garden with flowers, trees. It gets you outside. It gets you in touch with nature. It's really a good thing, and I think everybody should do some kind of gardening in their 50s. Okay, number 6 on the list is introduce a new food or a new beverage that you've never had or never liked before, as long as it's reasonably healthy. We don't need to add any unhealthy habits at this stage in our life. If you've never been a tea drinker or never liked tea, maybe introduce yourself to some different varieties. Just because you've never liked tea doesn't mean you can't start drinking it now in your 50s. How about drinking your coffee black versus the way you've had it all these years? How about trying kombucha? What about trying a completely different food from a different culture that you've never tried? You could learn some new recipes, maybe the most popular dish from other countries around the world. Maybe you could take up a course on French cooking. Now, I say this because by the time we get into our 50s, we can be in a rut, especially when it comes to culinary choices or the diet or the foods that we eat and the things that we drink. But introducing new things, new flavors, new cuisines in our 50s is a perfect time to do it. Even if you're the only one in your house that wants to try it, still do it. You never know down the road what it is that you may end up loving and may end up being your favorite food of all. Okay, number 7 is be more spiritual. Get closer to your higher power. If you've been lukewarm in your spirituality, make your 50s a time to change that. Make this a time to renew your commitment. Or maybe you're exploring spirituality for the first time in your life. But the reason I say this is I believe that everyone experiences a time in their life where something is just missing. Something doesn't feel complete. Something doesn't feel right. And maybe this is what it is. Maybe there's a hole in your life that can only be filled with a belief in a higher power, in a creator, in a loving God. More and more as time goes on, the questions become more complex in our life, and the answers become even harder to come by. At times, we even have to be content at not knowing why or how something happened. And it's much easier to accept that when you have a higher power that you can turn to. By the time we're in our 50s, we could have a lot of baggage, even scars from religion in the past, or we could just be coasting along like we have for years. If you already practice a specific faith, then I want to encourage you in your 50s to take a step closer, to take a step deeper in your faith. Whether it's attending a church service, whether it's gathering with a community of other believers, maybe it's studying scriptures at a deeper level, or even maybe attending a retreat. Okay, number 8, and next on the list is think of things that you loved doing as a kid. Can you do some of those things now? What were the things that you loved doing when you were alone as a kid or in your quiet time? Me, I loved reading books about wildlife and nature and insects and things related to science. As a kid, everywhere I went, I would pick up rocks that I thought were interesting or really cool, and I would stick them in my pockets. And my mom would have to fish them out before she did laundry. Okay, based on these things, I started thinking, what can I do today that would take me back to those things that I loved as a kid? And I have found that they offer naturalist certification courses, and they're broken down into different categories such as plant life and insects, and not that I would do anything with that certification, but I just feel like it would be something that I would enjoy. So I've put that on my to-do list. I found an app that identifies birds just by turning on the microphone on your phone, and it will listen to all the bird songs and the bird sounds that it hears, and it'll identify them for you. And I have had so much fun with that app. I had no idea of some of the birds that lived in my area that stay hidden. Another app that I loaded on my phone is called iNaturalist, and it can identify anything that you take a photo of, such as a plant or a tree or a bug, even mushrooms, spiders. It's really fun for me since those are things that I loved as a kid. I think revisiting the things that you loved when you were a kid is important, especially in your 50s. You never know. These things that you rediscover could breathe a whole new life in how you choose to spend your retirement. You could take drawing classes or courses on painting. You could even start mountain biking or writing stories. It's all based on the things that you loved doing as a kid when your life was more carefree, when we had a lot more time to just do the things that we love. See if you can pull some of those things into the current day. And I promise you, it'll make life a lot more enjoyable for you. Okay, number 9 on the list is begin strength training, because there is no more gratifying form of exercise than strength training. Okay, I want you to do something right now is flex your bicep and just feel that muscle in your arm. Do the same thing with your legs. Tighten your legs and feel those muscles. Now those muscles feel a lot different than the flab does on our body, right? I like to think of my muscles as being alive and full of energy, because they are. And the flab is just kind of tired and old. And I want to tell you, it does not take a whole lot of exercise to grow your muscles, especially if you're just starting. You don't even have to lift weights. You can use your own body weight. I mean, there's no better exercise for your quads than squats. Well, I'm sure somebody out there can tell me there probably is, but I know squats for me, they are still very challenging. But I know that every time I do them, I'm strengthening my muscles, and I know that with age, we lose that muscle strength. So we have to do everything we can in our 50s to try and counterbalance that. Now, strength training, it can make you stronger in your 50s than you've been your entire life. And I mean that, it really can. I want to encourage you to impress yourself by beginning strength training and just track your progress. And I'm telling you, pretty soon, you'll not only be able to feel those muscles, but you'll be able to see them in the mirror as well. Okay, the last one on my list, and this can be life-changing as well, and that is get a second job or a side hustle and put everything that you make into your retirement savings. Now, hear me out. Look into a way that maybe you can make some money, whether it's from getting a part-time job or starting a side hustle, selling things online, and put every bit of it into savings because it's extra money that you didn't count on. Now, I think the best way to do this is to open a new account, a Roth IRA, and put everything you make up to the limit that you're allowed to contribute for that year. Just keep putting everything you make into it and let it grow tax-free. Now, even if you only do this for just a year, and you put all that money in that Roth IRA account and you let it grow, in 5 or 10 years, you go and you see that balance, and you'll always know that it was from that time that you sacrificed a little to work that job or to do that side hustle, but it can be life-changing in regards to your retirement, and you'll always have that money to do however you see fit. Okay, that's my list. Now tell me, can you see how each of these things could be life-changing? Some of these ideas would only show the changes on the inside. Some of them would show the changes externally as well. But regardless, you can be more confident for the rest of your life based on doing some of the things on this list. And when your confidence increases, the world shows you more possibilities. And going into your 50s with a possibility mindset can change the entire trajectory of your life. The sky truly is the limit. Now is not the time to slow down. We've got too much to do. There's time for slowing down later. Have a fantastic week, and please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for tuning in today, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye.